The way he'd lean too close when he talked to them. How he always seemed to accidentally brush their arms when handing back papers. How every time he said their names, it came out too soft, too familiar.
Who y'all teacher? Why your teacher bricked in the middle of class? Why it sound like your teacher get bricked in class?
I am the stone that the builder refused. I am the visual, the inspiration.
More Abdul up next. What it do? Yo, YouTube. I'm here. Did you miss me on this channel? We're about to react to TikTok Storytimes. I don't really know what it's gonna hit for. Y'all know we used to react to the scary horror stories, but apparently these are like Storytimes on Reddit, putting the text to speech. You know what it is. Reddit stories are always insane. So let's check them out.
Our teacher was a so I taught him a lesson he'll never forget. It started small, things that at first didn't even register as wrong. Mr. Hawthorne was the kind of teacher everyone liked, or pretended to. Early 40s wore those too tight dress shirts that screamed midlife crisis. Always cracking jokes, always the cool one. But the girls in class, they didn't laugh. They smiled, tight, uncomfortable smiles, and kept their heads down. At first I thought maybe they were just shy. It's high school. Everyone's awkward. But then I started noticing more. The way he'd call only on the girls. The way he'd lean too close when he talked to them. How he always seemed to accidentally brush their arms when handing back papers. How every time he said their names, it came out too soft, too familiar.
Who y'all teacher? Why your teacher bricked in the middle of class? Why it sound like your teacher get bricked in class?
One afternoon, I saw him cornering Emily, this quiet freshman, by the lockers. She was clutching her books so tight, her knuckles were white. Mr. Hawthorne was smiling, talking low, too low. She nodded. Not the way you nod when you're agreeing, the way you nod when you just want to get away. When he finally left, I asked her if she was okay. She flinched like I'd hit her. I'm fine, she said. Too fast. I'm fine. But she wasn't. None of them were. I started paying closer attention after that. Watching, listening. There were patterns. Girls getting called after class for extra help. Girls getting special assignments no one else knew about. Girls getting private tutoring in his classroom during lunch.
That teacher was the diddler. You talking about cornering? Nobody snitched, nobody called nobody. He cornering folks. Y'all just sitting there like, nah, that's good. Let him corner. He cornering people. Nobody caught on. I probably wouldn't have snitched until I realized I'm the one failing the class, but they the ones getting the private help, because that would have made me suspicious. Teachers will do that, and whole time a guy like me will just be failing, and he will just be ignoring. I had my teacher come back to the school in 8th grade. He made sure to say, Abdul, I still don't like you. Bro, I'm 14. I couldn't believe, bro, that hurt my feelings so bad when he came back to school just to tell me he still don't like me. Bro, this guy's 50. He beefing with a 13-year-old, making all the kids laugh, bro. When he said that to me, I seen him on the news. He got bludgeoned. I went to my story. New pack in the air, this gas or what?
Always the girls, always alone. I tried talking to a few of them. They shut down fast. He's just strict. I don't want any trouble. I need good grades. Fear. That's what it was. And when I finally, stupidly, told a teacher, they smiled politely and told me Mr. Hawthorne was a valued member of the staff. When I pushed harder, the counselor said, sometimes students misinterpret friendliness. Misinterpret number. They were covering for him. I realized two things that day. One, no one was going to save those girls. And two, if someone was going to stop him, it had to be me. But not by reporting him, not by playing fair. Mr. Hawthorne was careful. Wrapped in a cardigan. If I wanted to end him, I had to be smarter, darker, worse. I started small. A recorder hidden in my hoodie pocket. Nothing fancy. Just enough to catch the way Mr. Hawthorne talked to girls when he thought no one was listening. I captured hours of audio. Come by after school. We can go over it alone. You have so much potential. Special girls like you need special attention. You don't need to tell anyone about our meetings. Some people wouldn't understand. Enough to make your skin crawl. But I didn't stop there. I went through yearbooks, past newsletters, looked at which students he singled out, who he mentored. The pattern went back years. Different faces. Same story. Some of them had left the school. I found a few online through social media, old forums. I reached out carefully, not pushing, just offering an ear. Some ignored me.
All you had to do was just record it, bro. Boy sat down and he took it upon himself to become Sherlock Holmes. We didn't ask for Sherlock, buddy.
But a few responded. They told me stories worse than I imagined. Late night calls, inappropriate messages, threats when they tried to speak up. One girl, Amanda, said he told her, no one will believe you. They'll just think you're a liar who wanted attention. And he was right. When she told the administration, they labeled her emotional and quietly suggested she transfer schools, which she did. I built a file. Audio recordings, testimonies, photos of Mr. Hawthorne getting too close, touching shoulders, hands lingering too long. But I still needed more. Mr. Hawthorne wasn't just slick. He was beloved. A reputation like a bulletproof vest. If I was going to destroy him, I had to turn his own world against him. I started by playing the long game, befriending him, staying after class, asking for help, laughing at his dumb jokes. It made me sick, but it worked. He let his guard down around me, started treating me like one of his cronies, told me things he shouldn't, about parties the staff threw, where boundaries were different, where things happened and stayed quiet. He bragged about it, smirked like the king of a castle built on fear, and that's when I set the trap. Mr. Hawthorne loved technology, thought he was a genius because he used an iPad in class, so I gave him one. A second-hand iPad, jailbroken, loaded with hidden spyware, looked brand new. I accidentally left it in his classroom after a tutoring session. He found it, of course, and kept it. Everything he typed, every site he visited, every photo he took, I had it, including the private folder he created, labeled innocently enough, lesson plans. Inside were photos of students. Nothing outright criminal, but disgusting, inappropriate, creepy. Zoomed in shots of girls bending over desks, photos of girls eating lunch.
Ain't no party like a Hawthorne party. Ain't Ain't no party like a Mr. Hawthorne party. That's the lesson plan?
Laughing, unaware, a collection, evidence. Now I had him, but it still wasn't enough. Exposing him would ruin him, sure. But I didn't just want ruin, I wanted annihilation. Annihilation takes patience. I knew Mr. Hawthorne's weaknesses, ego and power, so I used them. First, I created an anonymous Instagram account, a fake student, complete with believable posts, followers, and inside jokes stolen from real students' profiles. I made it clear I was interested in him. I posted stories that baited him. Bored in class, wish someone would make things exciting. Some teachers are way cuter than they should be. It didn't take long. One night, his message popped up. Just a hey, at first, innocent. Then, you're very mature for your age. I could help you with your grades if you keep this between us. Screenshotted, archived, filed, but I wasn't done. I sent similar bait to his personal email, this time from a fake parent account, pretending to be a mom of a student, thanking him for looking after her daughter. He responded, too eagerly, too casually. I always have a soft spot for special girls. Sometimes I take extra care outside of school hours. More screenshots. I compiled it all into a neat little package, a file so heavy it could break the internet if dropped, but a quiet leak wasn't enough, no.
Bro, at this point, they might take you to jail with them for all this catfishing and stalking you doing. All you had to do was sneak a recording, bro. Now we got a question, how did you even get this? And now you gotta go to jail too. What is wrong with this guy? Bro, this guy at this point, bro, just say you like him rizzing you from other accounts, bro. You texted him from 3 different emails trying to rizz him at one time. Just say you like being rizzed up, bro. I get it, you doing your job, but damn, your job is done. Every time it's time for somebody to catch a dater, they take it farther than it need to be taken, bro. All we needed was video footage.
This needed a show, a finale. Prom was coming up. Mr. Hawthorne, of course, volunteered as a chaperone. He always did. A night full of loud music, bad punch, terrible dancing, and every student in one place. Perfect. I planted the iPad in his car the night before, slipped it under the seat where he kept his jacket. His spyware was already running. Then I waited. At prom, he prowled, watching the girls, lurking by the photo booth, complimenting dresses a little too much. While he was distracted, I activated the second part of my plan. Earlier that week, I'd hacked the school's projector system. Nothing fancy, just a basic remote override. I synced the iPad to the projector, and at exactly 9 p.m., right when the dance floor was packed, the screen lit up. Photos, his private collection. The room froze. First a few gasps, then full-blown screams. Mr. Hawthorne stood there, pale, frozen, staring at his own sickness displayed 30 feet tall. He tried to run. Security stopped him. I watched from the side, sipping punch as the principal stormed in. Phones were already out. Pictures, videos, proof. He was finished, but I wasn't. The school launched an internal investigation. Of course they tried to spin it, said it was a misunderstanding, so I leaked everything to the press. Local news, social media, anonymous tips, the whole file. Within 48 hours, his face was on every screen in the state. Teacher exposed, parents furious, victims speak out. The police opened a formal case. Old victims, girls who had stayed silent, started coming forward. It snowballed, arrests, charges, court dates. And while Mr. Hawthorne's life burned down around him, I made sure he knew exactly who lit the match. One final package, printed screenshots, copies of testimonies, a single photo of Marley, my dog, sitting happily at my side, and a note, you picked the wrong class. Mr. Hawthorne didn't go down quietly. He tried to play the victim, claimed the photos were innocent, misinterpreted, said he was mentoring the girls. Nobody bought it, but watching him try, it was pathetic. Bail was set high, but not high enough. He scraped together money somehow. Family, friends, a few he hadn't discussed yet. He got out for a while. I knew he'd be desperate. He had no job, no home, no allies. His reputation was radioactive, and desperate people make mistakes. I made sure of it. I slipped anonymous letters into his mailbox. Fake job offers. Prestigious ones. Universities. Private schools.
Alright, bro, you on his meat, bro. Alright, bro. We get it, bro. Damn. Do you want to see this man burn? Bro, I'm telling you, he's having too much fun with sending this man to jail, bro. What do you mean you sending this man fake job applications, bro? It's over. Bro, he already in jail, bro. You sipped him fake job applications. Bro, if I'm him, if I'm Mr. Hawthorne, bro, don't let me catch you one-on-one. Bro, I don't care if I gotta catch you one-on-one in 20 years, bro. Don't let me. I'm gonna go to jail again. Oh, you wanted me in jail? Oh, I'm gonna be in jail, all right.
High salary, big titles. Each one was baked. Each one led to interviews that never existed, only carefully timed appointments where reporters just happened to be waiting. Photos of him skulking around school buildings in the dead of night flooded online. More fuel for the fire. He tried moving out of town. I made sure his future landlords got copies of his case file, concerned citizen tips. No one would rent to him. He tried switching his name. I paid
Bro, what are you doing? Bro, this guy's evil.
for a background search service to keep tabs on every alias. No matter where he went, what name he tried to hide under, he couldn't escape it. But ruining his life wasn't enough. I wanted him to feel what his victims felt. Powerless, trapped, exposed. So I dug deeper. Found out he had one asset left. An old cabin upstate, left to him by his parents. His last safe place. It wasn't listed anywhere. Off the grid. Supposed to be private. I found it. It wasn't hard. Predators always think they're smarter than they are. I visited late at night. Left no trace. Just reminders. Photos of his victims. Pinned to trees. Nailed to the cabin door. A recording of his own voice. The disgust.
So is this guy not evil? Bro, so is you not, bro, this is riding. I knew it, bro. They be doing everything but solving the case. That boy think he Batman. Bro, hop off his nuts.
Things he used to whisper to girls, playing on a loop from hidden speakers in the woods. Soft at first, then louder and louder. He called the cops. They found nothing. I moved the photos around each time. The voices, too. He stayed up all night, terrified, jumping at shadows, sleeping with lights on. The fear he once planted in others, blooming back onto him. It wore him down. He stopped showing up to court. He stopped leaving the cabin. Neighbors said they saw him pacing the yard, muttering to himself. He looked thinner, grayer, like a man being eaten alive from the inside out, which he was, by the truth, by fear, by me. But fear alone wasn't enough. I wanted humiliation. Final, irreversible humiliation. So I planned the last act carefully. Mr. Hawthorne still had online accounts, old ones he hadn't deactivated, forgotten relics of his past life. I hacked into them quietly, carefully, pulled photos from his old vacations, his Teacher of the Year award pictures, even personal messages, all the fake kindness he used to lure students. I built a website, simple, brutal. Meet Mr. Hawthorne, a life of lies photos, evidence, testimonies, his entire false legacy, stripped bare and set on display. And then I sent the link to everyone, parents at the school, local news, his former employers, his family, every single one. It spread like wildfire. He couldn't leave his house without seeing people staring, whispering, filming, couldn't log onto the internet without being reminded of the monster he was. He tried to fight it, sent desperate cease and desist letters, threatened lawsuits, but there's no unringing a bell. There's no coming back from truth. The final nail was his pension. Somehow, he still qualified for a small one. Not much, but enough to survive. Until I found a clause buried deep in the Education Board's code. Pension benefits could be revoked for actions bringing disrepute to the institution. I gathered all the evidence again, packaged it neatly, submitted it to the board anonymously. It took 6 months, but when the ruling came down, it was beautiful. Pension revoked, permanent disbarment from teaching, all licenses pulled, name scrubbed from every award, every honor roll. He didn't just lose his present, he lost his past. The last time I saw him, he was sitting on the porch of his crumbling cabin, alone, pale, thin, a husk of the arrogant man who once thought he was untouchable. I didn't say anything. I just watched him for a while, let him feel it, the weight of every life he ruined pressing back on him. And then I turned and walked away. Because the truth is, monsters don't need cages, they need mirrors.
Y'all both kind of questionable, bro. Cause I ain't never seen somebody carry such, like, you was riding, bro. Like, you did the right thing, but you definitely had it deep down your throat, bro. Alright, we get it. He needed to lose his job. Bro, he lost his job 4 minutes ago. You wanted more. You wanted him to do more than lose his job. Bro, that's genuinely evil. He wanted him to do more than lose his job. All right, I ain't gonna lie. My headphone's about to die, so we're gonna react to one more.
What's the pettiest thing someone's ever taken seriously? So my friend Mark, let's call him Mark because that's literally his name, has one consistent personality trait, being late. Not just 5 minutes behind, late. I mean the kind of late where you start wondering if they've been kidnapped or joined a cult. The kind of late that makes you say, we should tell him it starts an hour earlier, and you're still cutting it close. We've all accepted it. It's part of who he is. We even made group chat bets once, over or under 17 minutes late today. It's practically a game now. So when we made plans to meet at this brunch spot, yes, brunch, because we are grown adults who enjoy overpriced eggs, I showed up at 10:55, assuming he'd stroll in around 11:20, probably mid-apology with a smoothie in hand. But no, at 11 o'clock on the dot, Mark walks through the door like he's in a punctuality commercial. I blink, the waiter blinks, the universe blinks. So naturally, I say, wow, early for once. 3 words, not yelled, not sarcastic, just stated like a news headline. Mark freezes mid-step like I just slapped his grandma. He sits down, looks at me and goes, you didn't have to say that. I laugh, thinking he's joking. He's not joking. He says, I'm trying to improve and now I feel judged. Sir, it was a comment, not a TED talk. I say, it's just funny. You're usually late. It's not a crime. He says, yeah, well, people can change, you know. Okay, Gandhi. Sorry for acknowledging your evolution. We eat brunch. It's weirdly silent. I keep trying to make conversation like, these eggs are good, right? And he just nods like I insulted his lineage. After the meal, he says, I think I'm gonna head out. I go, cool. See you Friday? He says, yeah, maybe. Maybe? What is this? A breakup? I watch him leave thinking he just needs to cool off. Nope. Man goes full radio silence. Doesn't reply in the group chat. Doesn't like any memes. Nothing. I text him 3 days later. You okay? No response. Another day passes. I send, if this is still about the early comment, link twice. Nothing. Then someone else in the group posts a photo of Mark hanging out with new people. Strangers. Like a betrayal montage. One guy in the photo is wearing Crocs with socks. That's how I know Mark's spiraling. Finally, he texts back. One sentence. I just didn't appreciate being called out in front of others. Mark, there were 2 waiters and a ficus. No one else was even listening. But fine. I apologize. I say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. I was just surprised. You were on time. It was impressive. You know what he says? Thanks. I was. And I left the house early too. But it doesn't matter now. Sir, you sound like you just survived a betrayal in a historical drama. At this point, I'm done groveling. I send one final message. Okay, but for real, do you want brunch again Friday? He replies, as long as you don't bring shame to my punctuality. Mark, it's brunch, not the Olympics. We meet up again. He shows up 12 minutes late. I say nothing. But I did take a photo of the timestamp and sent it to the group chat later titled Nature is Healing. Now here's where
So you meat riding. You meat riding, bro. Bro, he pulled up and you told the group chat, bro, you trying to meat ride in peace, bro. That's what you're really trying to do. You on his meat. Is he not on his meat, bro? You meat riding.
where things go from petty to positively Shakespearean. 2 days after radio silence, one of our mutual friends, Jake, texts me, dude, what did you say to Mark? I reply, I told him he was early. Jake replies, oh yeah, that'll do it. Apparently Mark had been texting the group privately, saying things like, it's hard trying to grow when people only see who you were, and punctuality is personal. I didn't realize I was dating this man. I just wanted eggs and vibes. Another friend, Mia, tries to smooth it over by starting a group poll called, was the comment rude? 4 votes for no, 1 abstain. Mark left the poll. Then the group chat devolves into a full-blown analysis. He's clearly projecting. You triggered his time trauma. Wait, does this mean he won't come to game night? By Thursday, someone posts a meme of a digital clock that says, Mark's arrival time unknown. No response from him. I decide to make peace. Again, I send Mark a text that says, hey, if me being surprised you arrived like a functioning adult felt like an attack, I'm sorry. Next time I'll act like you've been early since birth. No response. Instead, he changes his Instagram bio to, growth is silent. Mark, he's now acting like he's in a breakup album rollout. At this point, I've been
Growth is silent.
ghosted over a punctuality joke. So I do what any normal person would do. I write a full timeline of the incident and send it to the group chat. Day 0, Mark arrives on time. Miracle. Day 0, minute 1, I acknowledge reality. Tragedy. Day 1, Mark retreats into emotional bunker. Day 3, Mark joins new brunch friend group with loose footwear morals. Day 5, I begin crafting this documentary. Eventually, Mark breaks the silence with a text that says, I think I'm ready to talk. We were never fighting. We meet up at a coffee shop. He sits down like we're mediating a custody battle. I half expect a therapist to join us. He says, I just want to be seen for who I'm becoming. I go, then don't be late to that version of yourself either. We both laugh. Kind of. By the end of the coffee, things are normal again. Until the barista calls my name and says, wow, early for once. Mark freezes. I nearly choke on my scone. He slowly turns to me and says, did you pay them to say that? I say, no, but now I wish I had. To this day, anytime someone arrives early, no one says a word. We just silently nod and pretend not to notice. Like time is Voldemort. And Mark, he's back to being 7 to 10 minutes late, reliable as ever. But every so often when he's feeling brave, he'll show up on time, look me dead in the eyes and say, don't you dare. I don't say a word. But I do raise one eyebrow just high enough to make him twitch. Some people need validation. Others need Wi-Fi. Mark, he needs complete silence and a safe space to arrive at exactly 11:02 a.m. And honestly, I respect it. But I'm still printing that brunch receipt with the timestamp and framing it for legal purposes only.
Mark sensitive, you trolling too much. Mark just trying to come late in peace, but Mark also trying to act like he not late. Like what you about to cry for cause you late? It's not nobody's fault that you late but yours.
What's the most dramatic reaction someone had to a basic question? All I wanted was deodorant. That's it. Not a treasure map, not the Ark of the Covenant. Just some good old-fashioned armpit prevention juice so I could walk into work and not smell like expired white liquid from gooning. I walk into this store that looks like it was decorated entirely in fluorescent lights and mild regret. You know the vibe. Aisles so empty you wonder if you're in a post-apocalyptic clearance event, and a cashier who looked like he'd lost custody of his will to live years ago. I head to the hygiene section, only to find it completely blocked off with a rolling cart, an aisle closed sign, and a single lonely mop that looked like it died trying to clean whatever incident happened there. Fine, no problem. I'll just ask someone when the store closes, so I know if I've got time to circle back. I walk up to the front where the employee is leaning over the counter like he's auditioning to play defeated retail worker number 2 in an indie film. I smile politely because I'm not a monster and go, hey, what time do you guys close? This man stood up like I just asked if he'd be willing to donate a kidney while I take his wife out for sushi and clap her cheeks after. He squints at me, leans forward like he's about to whisper national secrets, and with the gravitas of a courtroom drama, he says, why? Now I'm thrown. What do you mean, why? I wasn't prepared for a follow-up interrogation. I stuttered out the obvious, I just need deodorant, and then he narrows his eyes and says, I swear to every scented stick on that shelf. You planning something? Yes, sir. I'm plotting to overthrow the deodorant regime. I've been radicalized by the scent of fresh linen, and I refuse to live under the tyranny of cool sport anymore. Like, bro, relax. I'm not forming a heist team to rob the Dove shelf. But no, this guy's whole energy shifted like I just asked where they keep the uranium. He starts circling the register like he's preparing for a shootout, glancing at the security cameras like he's hoping the FBI is watching. So I try to de-escalate. No, really, I just need deodorant. I can come back if you're closing soon. He raises an eyebrow. You look like you've been walking around the store for a while. Okay, I was trying to find the aisle, not casing the joint. Like, sorry for treating this like a Target and not the Pentagon. At this point, I'm 70% confused, 30% impressed by his commitment to the bit. And then, out of nowhere, he picks up the store phone and says, can I get assistance at the front? Possible situation. Possible situation. Sir, I am the situation. And the situation is, I stink and need to fix it before I lose friends. So now I'm standing there holding a shopping basket with literally one single travel-sized toothpaste in it, being stared down like I'm part of a sleeper cell for deodorant criminals. Another employee waddles over, looking like she's been on her break since 2006. She whispers something to him while glancing at me like I'm about to turn into a bat and fly away. He nods, then turns back and says, all right, we close in 15 minutes, but don't take long. What is this, a riddle? Do I need to solve a puzzle before I'm allowed to buy toiletries? So I power walk back to the deodorant aisle like a man on a mission. And of course, the cart is still there. The mop is still dead. The deodorant is blocked off like it's under federal investigation. I lean over, reach for my usual brand, and the guy from the front literally pages me over the loudspeaker. Sir in hygiene, we are closing soon. Please proceed to checkout. Brother, I just got called out over a public address system for reaching for Old Spice. I feel like I'm in a sitcom where I'm the only one who doesn't know it's a prank show. So I grab the stick, march to the front, and the cashier gives me a look like I just brought a weapon to the counter. He scans it. No words, no smile, not even a have a good night, just tea bag. Silence. And as I'm walking out, he goes, you're lucky we're lenient. Lenient. Sir, you didn't give me a lollipop, you let me buy antiperspirant. I walked out of there half expecting to be tackled by mall security and sentenced to community service for aggressive hygiene. Moral of the story? Apparently, in this man's world, asking what time the store closes is suspicious, buying deodorant is provocative, and having the audacity to sweat is borderline terrorism. I now shop exclusively at stores that don't treat every customer like a Bond villain. And yes, I smelled incredible the next day.
They must have already have smelt you, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just a little low energy. I'm sorry, y'all. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, bro. Good night, everybody.